I'll do roll call. Or wait a minute. Call to order, flag salute, then roll call. Look at it right. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yes, again, I am the vice president and I'm Neil Turner. I am here. Grant Rodeheber has been excused for the evening. And Francisco,
Here.
Susie,
Here.
Heather.
Here.
Excellent. We're all here and present. So at this point in time, we will move on to, we don't have any additions or deletions, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So we move on to public comment. Do we have any public comments that are not on our agenda this evening?
That are.
Excuse me. I got a clean box. Anyone sign up?
Oh, you did? Oh. Nope.
No?
Good.
No one online?
We do have one person online, but I haven't heard anything yet. So
All right. Good. All right, moving on. We'll move on to our consent agenda this evening. We'd like to make a motion to approve our consent agenda.
Second.
Moves and Francisco seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Next, we are going to move on to our reports. We have our students
Student
first.
reps. Mhm.
Yes, we're going to start with our student reps tonight.
So if I can introduce them real quickly, or maybe even have them help, but these are our new student reps, and they surprised us by being here tonight because they're actually our student reps for next year, and they're take their job seriously and here to begin their jobs right now. So we're going to hear from them tonight. It's Yesenia and Ben. And why don't you guys first just introduce yourself real quickly? What
All right.
year are you in school and what's your role here as a student rep?
All right, I'm Ben. I'm going to be a senior next year, and I am the president.
I'm Yesenia. I'm going to be a junior next year, and I'm the public relations officer.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Meeting.
All right. Good evening. I am Ben Evans, the new ASP president, and this is.
Yesenia Carvajal-Mendez.
First, we'd like to thank Zach and Naomi for what they did here at the high school and in this room. They were amazing. They definitely took our school colors proudly to everywhere they went. And it was just amazing having them, and it will be big footsteps to them. So on to sports. Baseball just finished up its amazing season. They recently had a state run for the first time in 12 years in Spokane this past weekend. The team made it to the quarterfinals to finish top 8 in the state 1A level. Ruger Culp was given the Sportsmanship Award for sportsmanship in game 1 of playing in Spokane, and they finished the season with a 15-9 record.
Fast Pitch finished out their season strong. Unfortunately, their season did not go how they wanted it. They're looking good for next season with young talent coming up.
Track just finished its amazing season. They're sending 5 people to the state competition in Yakima, which I believe they left today. They had a send-off this morning at the high school, so hopefully they do very good.
Boys soccer had a great season, finishing 9 wins, 7 losses in the league, and even made it to the district game. They're looking forward to having an even better season next year.
Rochester Girls Golf had a good season and is looking forward to next year.
Clayton Knutson with boys golf recently went to state as he qualified last fall.
And football, summer football is starting next Monday, and the team is gearing up to have a good season next year, and I think we'll do good.
For clubs and bands, theater recently had their spring musical, which turned out amazing. Many faculty members participated in the play, and band had their banquet last night and are graduating 6 seniors.
What's happening at our RHS? Currently, sophomores are being tested for math with the SBA, and seniors have 3 days left at the high school, and their last day is this Friday, and all underclassmen have 11 days remaining. And also, graduation is coming up on June 7th at 2 p.m. And I believe that's all we have.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate the reports tonight.
Yeah.
Any questions, board members? Thank you.
Yeah.
They
Forward to
both
having you.
have some studying to do tonight if you want.
Absolutely. If you guys would like to leave tonight, you're more than welcome.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Enjoy.
They let me know earlier that they had some serious studying to do today, so.
Nothing wrong with that.
And I have some
Don't that wrong.
serious studying.
Soon enough. All right, next on our agenda will be our principal reports, school improvement plans. Who's first?
First, we have our Rochester Primary School.
I think you won last.
You won last time, so.
Oh, yeah. All right, good evening, I guess. Rochester Primary School, here we go, end of the year report. Our first goal was for this school year, according to iReady, to get our students up to proficiency in iReady math and the number of operations domain. By the end of the year, get to 80%. This goal aligned to the strategic plan, goal 1 and goal 3. And next slide, did we meet it? This is Nicole and a group of kids sticking their tongues out because we didn't make it yet, but we are working on this. So we have the 25-26 data is in the last row. Column 1 is our middle of year proficiency and number and operations, and end of year proficiency is in the column on the right. Our end of year proficiency and number and operations was 54%, which is 2% higher than we were at the end of year last year. But we're going to continue to do some work. So next steps in mathematics. We're going to continue to work on tier 1. Our tips, which we talked about last time and the time before, is teachers getting into each other's classrooms to observe and learn from each other. That's working for us in our phonics realm. We're going to grow that into our mathematics instruction. We're also going to continue to align our student growth goal to a math standard that carries from K2 so that we're all rowing in that same direction with student data that then aligns with our SIP goal. We're going to do some professional development and instructional practices that support mathematics. Miss Black, Mrs. Carrie Black, and Mrs. Diane Fast will be leading our work in that area. And then we're going to, as we work through that, transition to the new revised learning standards for math for Washington State and make sure that we have alignment with tier 2, which is what you see next within tier 2, making sure we have an alignment process of identifying, tracking, and monitoring student growth within mathematics. That picture there is students celebrating the last fluency flight recess of the year, which we thought was going to be the last one. We have one more, but this is a program through iReady where our second graders are practicing their math fluency, and it was a ton of kids that got to go out on the playground. Mrs. Black runs this for us, and it's a big motivator, but it was pretty awesome to see that many kids out celebrating getting that fluency flight award. Goal 2. So this is an extension from last year, and it's to get to 80% of our students meeting proficiency in phonics as measured by iReady. Again, it aligns to the RSD strategic plan, goal 1 and goal 3. Did we meet the goal? Well, at the beginning of this year, we had 118 students that were not proficient in phonics. That means they were in the yellow or red zone on our assessment, 1 to 2 grade levels below or early in that grade level. 49 students of those 118 are now proficient in green. We've been tracking them this year and tracking what interventions we're using and how we're helping those kids. That's 42% of those students. 14 of them actually went from red to green, which is a huge jump for our kids. 29 of those students are yellow, which means they're just under proficient. And then 29 of those students are red. 13 of the students that were in the original 118 no longer go to Rochester Primary School. So we didn't have them in our year-end data. But we continue to watch this group, and as our second graders leave, a new quarter of kindergartners will come in. Did we meet the goal overall as we watch that group of kids? We are at 71%. I think we had some data. You know how you get real into like what all the kids you're digging in? We had 6 fourth graders in our Rochester Primary School data that might have been bringing us in another direction. They weren't off if it adds up today. And I was really hoping we were going to be at 72, so it wouldn't be the exact same. As of this morning, they're still in there and we're at 71%. But I'm really proud of our staff. We have been working on this. And the kids, when the assessment was done, and kindergartners coming up to us and saying, Mrs. Curtis, we made it to the island. So the island is the green zone. So Mrs. Webb's class on the next one, they made a little video for other kids to try to encourage them to get to the island. Miss Webb's class, all but one student made it to the island in phonics. And they made a little video. So you could play it, Mr. Buck, about getting to them. Hold on. She asks him. We will get to the island. So we were going to have a big luau island celebration if we made it. My staff's not ready to give up on this goal yet. They're like, we are going to get to 80. So we talked about how are we going to do that? We will be in the third year of our curricular resource adoption next year. So the kids that will be in second grade will have had U-Fly their whole time at RPS. We're going to continue with tips and working on our tier 1 practices. We also talked about understanding the iReady assessment and really digging more deeply into the data and seeing what are the skills specifically our students might be struggling with. Because phonics and iReady even takes into account prefixes, suffixes. So we want to really understand the test. We want a clear alignment across tiers from tier 1 to tier 3, and then a boost in family engagement and how we can be intentional about bringing our families in to support us with this work, making sure they know what the island is. What is it when their kids come home and are saying they made it to the island and they're going, what does that mean? And we want everyone to know. So our work will continue next year. Goal 3, and I'll let Ms. Kernett take it away.
Yeah, so goal number 3 is focused on one of our essential social emotional learning behavioral standards of I can manage my body, which is meaning basically like keeping your hands to yourself, playing safely, things like that. And so our goal is to get to 95% from 65% as measured by our report card data that's aligned to that goal. And we measure it building wide with the same proficiency scale. Also aligned to the RSD strategic plan, of course, goal 1 and 2. So currently, we don't have our 4th quarter data yet, but we will once those report cards are finalized at the end of the school year. But as a 2nd quarter check, we had 67% of our students building wide, showing proficiency in that standard of I can manage my body. And at 3rd quarter, we had 74% of our students meaning proficiency there. So we're hoping we're trending in that right direction. And 95% is a lot of our kids. So that is a really big focus of our building, continuing for the social emotional behavior side, that our kids are at 95 proficiency in those standards.
Next step.
Oh, and next step. So we'll keep working on what we're doing as a whole school with everybody. Part of that is going to be intentional time with our teams to be able to talk about that with a structured way that is intentional and aligned to our building wide plans. We'll continue plan to study act cycles where when we see like things rising up, like where students are struggling or having hard times, we'll come together as a building to figure out what we're going to do to that, look at it, and then figure out what we can keep adjusting based on our kids every year, because everything's a little different. And then we'll also have adoption of tier 1 curricular resources, which our counselors working very visible beyond, we're aligning that to our essential behavior and social emotional learning standards.
Next one.
Okay.
Celebrations from the year. So just so you guys know, we are now graduating a group of dual language kids, not graduating. Maggie said I can't use that. Promoting, transitioning 2nd graders to 3rd grade. So our dual language cohort, that was 8 minutes. Our dual language cohort is going to make it to Grand Mound. We had 355 people attend. Our gym was packed. Francisco, were you there? It was very
you
cool.
were that.
Yeah. And each kiddo got a medal, which they'll get pins along their lanyard as they go and complete different pieces. But that bottom picture are our OGs, our original group of dual language kiddos. We're excited to see where this group goes. So that was awesome. The other celebration on the next slide, here's some pictures that we took on the playground that evening. But 2nd semester attendance, Ms. Clement.
Yeah, so our current average of attendance for 2nd semester now, of course, we're not quite done. We have a little bit of school left, but currently our average is 92% of attendance for RPS, which I'm really excited to look at the last year's, but is really trending in a really positive way. So we're very excited about that.
So we're pretty excited about our attendance. Yeah, that's everything. Any questions for us?
The question I was going to ask was, How was attendance? 92.
We predicted that, Neil
Yeah.
Turner.
Yeah.
And we got it in there on the last slide.
Well, you know, correlation. If the
Yeah.
kids ain't here, they don't get the chance to learn.
Absolutely, and it's-
then that makes it a lot harder to
Yeah.
teach and instruct.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I'm glad to see that 92% number.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we are too. It's been awesome.
Board members, any questions?
Thank you.
Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you.
Oh, if you guys have things to go do tonight also, you're more than welcome to leave.
Thank you.
That applies to all of you.
Yeah, go see. Some of them have to, so I have to present.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Next.
Oh, yes. So Grand Mound, yay. So goal number one, thank you for starting the timer. Good. Aligned to students feeling safe, supported, connected, and engaged. Strategic plan goal number two, educator empowerment. So as we talked in previous meetings, we want to increase the percentage of educators who identify as amplifiers of both credibility and collective efficacy. So this belief that yes, the kids view us as credible, and also we believe in one another that we can support students learning at high levels. So we started out 60%, goal was 80, yay! 100% of our staff identified themselves as amplifiers. So, yeah. So how do we do that? A whole bunch of collaboration this year and learning more deeply about what credibility is and collective efficacy. So it's been, a huge success. Also want to continue to collaborate and build our collective efficacy together and continue to deepen our learning with the topics that are within that idea of credibility and collective efficacy. So we spent a lot of time this year on trust. And so these are some of the other topics that are in there as well. So competence, dynamism, and immediacy, again, to continue to amplify our collective efficacy. And also, a lot of collective efficacy is about the belief that other people have about us. And so one way to have accountability for ourselves is through hope theory. So this idea of creating goals, having the agency to act, and then creating pathways to accomplish the goal. So another way to be able to continue with our collective efficacy work. So goal number two, students will demonstrate achievement of core academics, strategic plan goal number three. So these are 10% increases from last year, what our goal was. So wanting to get to 39% of our students learning multiple languages, scoring proficient on the SBA or state, right, Smarter Balanced Assessment Test, and 34% of students with disabilities. So, yay, how do we do? Oh, don't get too excited. So, did we meet the goals? No. Also, this is very, it's very interesting to compare the school-wide goal or school-wide scores from one year to the next, right? So any educator will tell you, for whatever reason, groups of students score higher or lower, and sometimes in certain areas. And so for us, as we dove into this data more, and you can see like the number of students like per grade level, how many students are in that grade level, how many passed the test, how many didn't. Now, I guess I shouldn't say, did we meet the goal? No, not quite yet. We'll see. 80% of our kiddos that have disabilities and 59% of our students that have that are learning multiple languages. You can see how the percentage of those scores that have actually been posted. So they haven't been graded yet. We have a few students that are still testing, but as the state calculates those scores, right, then we can see them. Now, will we, get to our goal with our, where it says SPED or our students with disabilities? Probably not. So why is that? Well, we started digging into the data more and found that actually from our students that took the test this year, all of our students with that have disabilities, we've had 8 students that have like increased a proficiency level, right? So they went from red to yellow or yellow to green or green to blue. So, and we had 5 students that went down a proficiency level. So did they still learn? Yes. Also, did they learn enough to, stay at that proficiency level? No. So, it's interesting. So we have more kids that are learning, right, and increasing, but some of them not quite to meet the threshold to increase that proficiency level, right, or maintain it. So, it's very interesting when you dive into the data a little bit more. The students learning multiple languages, we had 7 students that increased a proficiency level, and then 4 students who dropped a proficiency level also. Again, are they learning? Yes. Did they learn enough to maintain that level that they were at before? Not quite. So it's interesting to, really dive into that stuff. So the good news is we have more students that are increasing proficiency levels than are decreasing. And, we want to continue to build our system so that we can support all of our students and continue to make growth and score proficient, right? Or pass the test. So. Next step, so we want to identify a common graphic organizer for math. This is one thing that's really helpful so kids aren't learning new graphic organizers from one grade level to the next. It's consistent, it stays the same, from one year to the next. Aligning our instruction with the SBA as well. We aligned a lot of our assessments this year with the SBA. And so teachers and students, they practiced a lot on the platform, for the end of the year test. And so that was helpful. We also want to create a grade level math intervention. We are doing this for reading next year, and we're really excited about that. We want to continue to develop with math. Do some iPods or interesting problems of the day is kind of what we call them. But starting the students out with rigorous problems that they really have to be able to think through, use problem solving skills, are in context or in story problems, which are the ones that are the most tricky for our students. And then finally, respond to the students' fluency. And again, that sense making from mathematical or through mathematical practices. So.
Great. And then goal 3 was to decrease our discipline referrals to less than 400. And as I told you last meeting, we are overachievers, and I'm just going to show you how much more of overachievers we are from the last meeting. So if we go to the next slide, as of today, we have 664 referrals, and I am afraid that number did go up a couple more clicks as the day went on. This is a graph showing us the number of referrals we've gotten each month. And we do see some hot spots throughout the school, March being our biggest one. And if we think about March, the kids are tired. They haven't had a break from school in all that long. They had the holiday break back in December. So they've had 3 pretty consistent months of school. Spring fever starts to hit in. We're getting older, we're getting sassier, we're testing more boundaries. And then April, we see that dip again. We had spring break. So therefore, we attended less days of school. We're going to have less referrals, but also that break is necessary for everybody, including our teachers as well. So some things that we want to do in order to, improve this goal for next year. I brought this to our foundations team. I was like, what can we do as a school in order to decrease our total number of discipline referrals? We have our new social emotional learning curriculum, which is hopefully getting adopted today at this meeting. So that curriculum is really intentional about teaching kids to learn, use, and generalize social emotional learning skills, conflict resolution, positive peer talk, everything that they need in order to be successful, not just as a student, but as a human at our school. Student voice and incentives. If the kids have buy-in to what's going on at school, if their voice is seen and heard all throughout the school, we're hoping that increases positive behaviors that we see in the school. Is it the ultimate fix? Probably not, but is it going to improve behaviors throughout the school? Absolutely. That's the hope. And then additionally, we had our Warrior Way Carnival this year. We only had that once this year. We should be rewarding students more frequently for them meeting behavioral expectations. So we'd like to do that quarterly next year. And another idea that the foundations team brought up was partnering with Rochester High School and bringing back that Big Brothers Big Sisters program. So my understanding of it was that students from the high school would come down and eat lunch with a select group of kiddos that maybe needed some positive mentorship from an older student to make sure that they're steering in the right direction. So we'd like to bring that back, hopefully in the future, but that's going to, of course, call for some more increased collaboration between GMES and RHS.
Can I interject real quick? Is the top left, is that dressed like a teacher day?
Oh, yes, that is Elias Abarca, and he is dressed as Mr. Aragon. He had an earpiece in.
Yeah,
It was really adorable. He never gets in trouble, but you just needed to see him. He's too dang cute to pass up.
You should have seen his hair. It was
Oh
great.
gosh, he gelled it back. It was cute. This doesn't count towards my 8 minutes. Okay, and then we have some celebrations from the year. We increased our collaboration with families. We got their input on parent pickup. We had a bingo night. We had STEAM night. That was all from family input. So we love our collaboration. We want to keep on increasing it. We also collaborated a lot with our students. They wanted volleyball on our playground. We now have 2 volleyball nets on our playground. They wanted to be able to wear hats at school inside of common areas. They presented to our staff, and they can now wear hats and hoods inside of common areas in our school because the staff voted on it and the motion passed. And then additionally, they want to have a talent show next year, which is pretty exciting. So that'll be incorporated into our monthly assembly. Of the 67 responses from the family engagement survey, we see that lots of people feel welcome and they think that the information that we send out is easy to understand. 1% of people said that they don't think we have ways for families to share concerns. And to those people, I say, come on down to the booster meeting, send us an email, give us a call. We're here to collaborate. We love collaboration with our community. And then looking at our student voice survey, 95% of our kids are saying that they are doing their best every single day at school. And then 94% of them state that their teacher believes that they can do great things. So that, of course, is student perception of what their teachers think of them. So we're moving in the right direction. We got work to do, but we're going the right way.
Any questions?
664 referrals. And you think March was just a big time because it was in between spring break and winter break, or?
So typically when I've examined our school data, which I know I'm a whole professional of 2 years in our discipline data at GMES, March is a hotspot month for students. And it's not just at GMES, it's across schools, across the nation, RPS as well. Thank you. Yeah. So March is a hard time for kids. That's when we see an increase in discipline referrals. I think it's a combination of misbehaviors of students, but also discipline referrals can sometimes, if the system is still working towards improvement and full fidelity across the building, sometimes discipline referrals can be really subjective. What one teacher sees as disrespect and a level 2 behavior infraction could be seen by another staff member as, oh, that was kind of rude. I'm going to send your mom a message on rooms, and it's a tier 1 behavior. So we have some work as a school to systematize how our behavior referrals get written up. So that way there's less subjectivity to our discipline referrals.
Yeah, you think that we'd have a set standard and all the teachers would be on the same page for proper or improper behavior. So I could see where that could be skewing it also. I thought, like, wow, that seems like a really high number. It's like November and January are both at 67, and that's like, you got breaks right in the middle of that. Yeah, the one on, I assume maybe longer days, sun's out longer.
That also
More days. We have more days of school in March than we do in just about any other month.
Absolutely. What?
Yeah, and ultimately, right, it's our responsibility to make sure that the kids get the support that they need, with the social emotional learning, and that we build systems so that we can support any of the students' behavior that come in. And so that's a work in progress, when we're still working out those kinks and just want to continue to improve. So, yep.
Sounds great. Board members, any other questions?
You sure you didn't want to know about attendance?
Well, I was thinking about the learning thing, something about break dancing. Oh, okay, fine. You're ready for me, Dan. I'm okay with that.
No, last time you caught me off guard, but this time I came ready. So 76.1% of GMES students have absolutely zero unexcused absences. So is it perfect? No, but is it great? Almost. It's going to be good. Only 45 GMES students have 3 or more unexcused absences. So that number 45 is a lot less daunting to deal with than 500. So we're moving in the right direction. Almost 91% of students have less than 3 unexcused absences. And then as a school, we have only had 20 days below 90% attendance.
Wonderful. You're ready for me. That's. Thank you. Thank you. I love that number. That's really good.
Yep.
Really good, super good. The little teachers know that. I'm super happy. Yeah. Attendance is everything.
It is
If they don't show up, it doesn't work. Awesome.
Right, so our first goal was that 77% of our multilingual learner students will show typical or better growth on their on their reading iReady scores on the spring benchmark of 2026 as compared to fall of 2025. This was a carryover goal from the year before where they knocked it out of the park last year, and we wanted to see how far we could push the needle. As other principals have stated, different cohorts, different kids. If you want to hit the next slide. Currently, 61% of our ML students have reached their goal of typical or better growth. So no, we have not met our goal. There's still some data that is coming back as their benchmark testing. We just finished up smarter balance testing last week. And so the kids, there's probably a little test fatigue playing into that. But looking at the students and just, predicting over the students that are left over, their trajectories, they're probably not going to make our goal. But we give the old college try, and the students that we have that are in this subgroup, they really have given a lot of growth. There's a lot of growth in that data, a lot of stripy reds to yellows. So which is I already speak for from really bad to we're still below grade level, but we're getting there. We're getting close. And then this picture is of our Latinos Unidos Club. They just took this last weekend a trip up to Point Defiance Zoo and Aquarium that was paid for by boosters. And so our booster club has, carrying on the good work of sponsoring our students and making sure they have enjoyable experience. So our next steps for that goal is to intentionally identify and set goals for each student, identify as monolingual. That's something I think that it should happen anyways inside of a TBIP program. But I think it'd be necessary and beneficial for teachers to understand that, like some of our students with disabilities, that also are students that in this special subgroup also need an additional focus. That if we want to get them to proficiency and building bilingualism, that we need them to get there. Focusing on professional development around strategies for ML learners like PsyOp or Project GLAD, and then considering finding a different measure for growth for ML students that raises the bar and moves them closer to what the school, when you talk about school improvement frameworks, what is the school really judged on, right? We're judged on the growth and the smarter balance. Unfortunately, the state doesn't really pay too much attention to our iReady scores. They're looking more our ML students growing on smarter balance. And is there growth in that area? And also, are they making progress towards proficiency on the WIDA assessment? Are we having that student? And we won't get that data back until in the fall-ish for that assessment. So next slide. Goal number 2 was this actually is the same goal as last year, that the school had 60% of students with IEPs will show typical or better growth on their iReady scores on the spring benchmark of 2026 versus fall 2025. And only 43% of students have met the goal. So we're within about 17%, but we're not quite there. Again, still benchmark testing. This picture down below is our students serving meals during the Thanksgiving feast that happened on the same day as the holiday bazaar. And so just kids being there out in front and showing leadership skills, they can do great things. Next slide. So our next steps for this is shoring up our tier 2, which really is our first period. Interventions by clearly identifying entry and exit criteria. What does it take for a student to be identified to go into that first period intervention or reading or math? And then what does it take to get out and communicating that to kids? Working with teachers to develop strategies to intervene in their classrooms in real time. It's very difficult in secondary when you only have 54 minutes in a class period and you have to teach a lesson, but then also try to intervene at the same time. So you have to be very intentional about how you build in those tier 2 interventions to keep kids caught up. For those kids that maybe didn't get it on the first time, giving them that extra tier 2 intervention in your classroom on the second time. So working with the teachers to develop those strategies and then developing a common set of strategies that meet the needs of the students with disabilities specific to the students who make up the subgroup. So as opposed to the general teaching methods that work for, all kids with or that are just good teaching practices, coming up with a set that works for specifically student by name, this kid, that kid, right? And going beyond accommodations and modifications to assessment, but really what works for those kids and being able to call that out. Strategic plan goal number 3 is 72% of RMS students will achieve regular attendance by May 2026 as compared to 64% during the 2025 school year. No more than 28% are chronically absent. Let's see if we met this one. 68%. So we are above last year, but we did not meet our goal. Granted, that stretch goal it was a stretch goal. It was going to be a stretch. You typically don't get, 6 or 8% jumps like that. Like that's, you're doing Superman type work, but I figured, throw it out there and let's see if we can do it, right? Raise the bar high enough and we'll see if we get there. And so, that is a picture of Mr. Martin and do you remember that kid's name? I just brain farted.
Same.
Yeah.
It's May.
Yeah, there's 500 of them. Mini Mr. Martin, maybe that's what we'll call him. But this was on our secret, we had a secret spirit week. And the significance of this was that we didn't tell kids about it. That's the secret part. And all staff, pretty much almost every staff member to a person participated every day. And we would show up to work like on Monday, wearing 2 different shoes. And then the next day it was
Anything but a cup.
Anything but a cup, all these things. And kids, you could actually hear kids talking about it saying, I was going to skip tomorrow entirely because I have this doctor's appointment in the morning, but I'm going to come because I want to see what's happening. So.
And I think that week we increased attendance and we had, let's say 91% of our kids in attendance that week.
Yeah.
It started at 89 and by the end of the week we were up to 92, 93 because they just wanted to know what we were doing and why we were showing up in weird outfits.
Yes. And wigs and
all kinds of nonsense.
Christmas sweaters in the middle of April. So it was,
Halloween costumes.
Yes.
Which is a good one.
Yeah, it was a good time. And that was organized by by Mrs. Hubbard. So our next steps for this one. Use a student voice survey as well as SEL screener survey data to identify tier 1 barriers to attendance. We already kind of do that. Compiling that tier 2 data from the student barrier forms that we do as is a required intervention for students who have 3 or more unexcused absences to be proactive in regards to reducing those barriers school-wide. So not only for the kids that are experiencing the barrier, but also for other kids who may be in that same boat. We can be proactive and get out in front of it. Continuing the work with the community engagement board that Mrs. Hawker Smith has done all year long, getting kids before the community engagement board. And then also we've referred a few kids actually to the juvenile courts for truancy, and they've gone in front of judges, which coming from Yakima County, I never saw a kid go in front of a judge in my years as an administrator. And so for Thurston County to really take that seriously, school attendance and making sure that kids understand that, no, you have to go to school is really encouraging. And then developing next year's goal around attendance with the RMS staff to address this need. So really getting, all the goals are, we're working on building next year's SIP with staff now, but really getting them, our staff to understand that they play a huge part in the attendance of kids. That if the school is not welcoming, kids will vote with their feet. They will not come if it's not fun, right? Because it still has to be fun no matter how old they are. And that's Mr. Maybe. So we had a March Madness attendance challenge, which was highly contested. And there were a couple appeals that were made throughout this by teachers and students alike over some of the ways that things fell. But Mr. Maybe ended up being the champion of this. And so we took the attendance data from third period weekly on Friday, and the classrooms faced off, teachers faced off. And as in a true March Madness form, they were eliminated as they went along if their attendance was less than their colleagues. And so kids had an impact on that. And again, that was another really fun thing. And then, of course, Mr. Maybe got to brag and he got a little trophy.
He still carries that around.
He does.
It's a little goat.
All of the
It's a
time.
good time.
All the time. So some of our celebrations from this year, we've got our students that raised over $100 each. They got a limo ride and pizza back in October for the walk run fundraiser. Our students, they played appropriate music during our Veterans Day assembly. The bottom right corner is the field trip of some of our students from the Learning Center, who they went on a field trip to Northwest Trek and had a really great time, got to see some of those animals that they really enjoyed. And then also as a leadership opportunity for some of our other students that go in and mentor students in the life skills room. Our basketball teams, we had a lot of growth and development. That's actually a 7B team that was playing in that bottom picture. And then, of course, on Halloween, typically up until this year, costumes were not encouraged at school. They weren't necessarily disallowed, but they were not encouraged. But I like to celebrate. So that was one of the early changes I made in the kids. I communicated the expectations home to families early on about what was going to be allowable. No blood, no weapons, nothing really scary. And the kids followed the expectations and we had 0 problems. So showing that our kids are great kids. Questions from the board?
So who's in the banana suit?
That is Mr. Crockett. I did not, I'm a little sad. So the first time I ever met Dale Crockett was a little bit before, slightly more than a year ago. And the very first day that Paige and I were on campus, he was dressed as Abraham Lincoln. And because they were reading the Declaration or the Proclamation Declaration. And so or Emancipation Proclamation, and he did it again this year. And this year I did not get a picture of him again, which also led to another funny catastrophe. Mr. Martin, who we saw earlier, he was so focused on bringing Mr. Martin a suit coat that he forgot to put on shoes and wore his slippers to school. So there's a lot of fun that's had. I think the kids thought that was another Secret Spirit Day.
They asked why I wasn't wearing some stuff.
So you didn't get to see Dale with long hair?
No, I didn't.
But we have seen the pictures of the kids cutting it off.
Yes. So questions from the board?
Board members, you guys have any questions? I like the idea of the costumes and maybe, change of the shoes and keep the kids engaged and entertained and keep them growing and learning.
Yeah.
Everything's a step forward at this point. And it's like you guys are trying to do the best you can in the situation and trying to find resolutions for issues. I commend you. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Promise.
Good evening. So, go back. No, please. Sorry. So I asked Davina for pictures and I came across this one and it kind of just encapsulates our school. You see every kind of kid in that picture. There's athletes in there. There's super robotics kids in there. There's kids that are non-traditional, and they all represent our school. They each have their own way of bringing Rochester High School to life. So I really like that picture. So I told all of them they were going to be in the board meeting tonight, so they were very excited. All right, next slide. Our goal, so this was our play, and I got invited up on stage, and so I adopted the street thug persona for my performance. And I messed them up because I got myself out in the first round because I was supposed to spell Warriors, and I didn't want to be on stage anymore, so I got it wrong. First of all, increase student performance on the ELA Smarter Balance Assessment from 58 to 70% of students meeting or exceeding the standard. As of, I left the school at 5:50, we were still stuck at 109 students processed, but at this point right now, we have 66% of our students proficient or above proficient. I'm guessing we're going to continue to go up because the kids that are early in the test are the ones that kind of went, yeah, I don't know that. I don't know that. And so we're hitting the kids who have put a lot of work and invested their time in the test. So I'm assuming that's going to keep going up. We also were aiming at targets 8, 10, and 14. We are proficient right now already on targets 8 and 14, and 10 is near proficient. So we're waiting for that. So I'm hoping that will come up. I'm going to go to the next slide. Do we meet the goal? Jury's still out. So we still have 42 kids we're waiting on to see to go in the system. And see, I did the slide this morning, it was 65, and this afternoon it clicked over to 66. We are now above the state average. Our average test score is 2000 or 2606. The pass score is 2577. So our kids are testing 19, is that 19 or 29? 29. 29 points above state average. So that's really awesome. What you see here in images was the event put on between the Thurston County Fire Department and our school, engaging our students in driver awareness and safety while driving. The awesome event. They brought in the life support helicopter, and it was really awesome. If you didn't get to see it, you missed out. Next slide. Next steps. So what we're going to do is we have some time set up with staff. We're going to look at our data. So we're still waiting for that to come in, and we're going to focus next year on instructional and behavior. You're going to see this next steps is going to be the same thing on everyone. We're going to put a lot of structures in place to ensure success. That is something we have a lot of pockets of excellence, but we're not seeing consistency in some places. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to build a ton of systems next year to support our students and their academic success. Next one. Multilingual students will increase their performance on the Math Smarter Balance Assessment from 0 to 25%, meeting or exceeding. They are testing right now. When I left, there's only 2 kids in there, and they're hard kids. So we do not have any results yet, but we're hopeful. A lot of the work that we've done this year has been our teachers have taken their assessments, and they are now, when students take assessments, they look like the Smarter Balance test. They're worded, and they are at the level of rigor that you see on the SBA. So our kids are, when they see the test now, have already been working on it all year long, so it doesn't intimidate them when they see those questions. So they're better prepared when they're hitting the exam. Next slide. Once again, we're going to evaluate our data, and we're going to work together to develop which instructional and behavioral structures are most important to provide that structure that is essential for student success. I want to move quickly because this is the best part. Next one. We're going to improve respectful student and student to staff interactions by reducing office referrals for leaving class without permission, failure to cooperate, and student altercations by 50% compared to 2025 data. And we're going to increase the percentage of somewhat agree or agreed responses to questions 25 and 26 on the student voice survey from 30 to 50%. We did not hit the referral goal, but what I will have you notice is if you look at the fourth quarter number on the very far right, we've had 3 referrals for leaving class without permission, 5 failure to cooperate, and that student altercations has been stuck at 18 since January 26th. We have not had a fight in our school for 4 months. I've been pushing bait has pushed me back. So
Yes, you are.
So we reduced that, and I think a lot of that is attributed to the work that we've done this year with our students and our staff. Bringing Stu Cave in, we're working with helping our kids kind of redirect behavior in our school instead of it just being staff. And even huger, Is that a word? News
I don't see.
coming up. There's so much positive data, it needs its own special slide. But I threw a couple pictures in here of some awesome pottery work because these girls deserve to be recognized. All right. Did we meet the goal? No, we didn't. However, if you look at this, oh my goodness. All right. The top two questions are the ones that we referred to in our SMART goal. We increased from students being kind to each other from 30, this is our student voice survey data that you're looking at, increased from 30% to 37, which isn't what we want, wasn't what we aim to do, but that's a pretty good increase. So we were moving, and our students treating our staff with respect increased to 42%. So pretty significant. These other ones are big jumps that I thought were noteworthy. I usually look forward to attending my classes. That jumped 10%. RHS is a welcome and safe place to be. Over half our kids, now almost 54% of our kids think our school is a safe place to be. They feel like they belong, almost 60%. Teachers listen to me when I talk, 66% almost. Throughout my high school experience, I have voice in how I learn, is now at 54. My teachers get me, 49%. My teachers have students discuss how culture, time, or place affects something we read in class, almost 60%. I receive helpful feedback and teach from my teachers, 66%. And my teachers notice if I have trouble learning is at 52%. So those are all significant jumps. And I think that's directly related to our focus on developing relationships with our students and the work we've done with Stu Cave. And this has been something we've been doing for 3 years. It's not something we just started this year. It's something we're going to continue to work on. My intent is to come back next year and show you the exact same slide with all the green on it. And that's the hope. All right, next steps. We're gonna look at data. What happened to the screen up there? You're losing me, man. We're gonna look at our data. Obviously, there's areas for improvement. We're gonna go in there and we obviously didn't hit the spot that we wanted. We're gonna continue with 25 and 26. We need to increase student-to-student respect. And so we're gonna continue to hammer that. We've already got some plans in place. We're bringing Erin Jones in to work with us next year. And she's going to be a huge help with us. And then with the structures we're putting in place, we're very hopeful to continue to show growth. Celebrations. I'm going to overwhelm you guys. Every picture you see on that page is a team that competed in the postseason. So you have boys golf, you have cross country, you have football, you have cross country, you have volleyball, you have girls soccer, we have swimming, we have choir, we have band, we have boys basketball, we have bowling, we have baseball, we have soccer, we have wrestling. And I threw the play up there because although there are no state competitions, they were phenomenal this year and deserve to be recognized. And lastly, our unified sports team. We launched that this year and it's been phenomenal. And I'm very proud of our kids and all the hard work. That this isn't just athletics, because in order to play, you have to be doing well academically. And so those two are married hand in hand. And so all of those kids have to be academically eligible to participate. So that's a huge hat off to the hard work of our students and our staff.
I have nothing. Board members?
I'm glad I didn't bring you attendance data.
Good evening, everybody. I'd like to open first of all, there's some people who are here, there's some people who are not here that I just want to thank. That are a tremendous support for me and what I do. Andrea, she answers my calls. She tolerates me. She's very patient with me, as is Jill. Karen, she talks me off the ledge when I'm struggling with kindergarten. I'd like to congratulate Dr. Bettman on your retirement and your support, as well as Dan Fisher at the end of July will also be retiring. So it won't be the same without seeing him around. So thank you to those people. So just to start with, we finished up season 5 track recently, and you have a breakdown of boys to girls right there. Very successful season. We ended up I allude to this in a later slide, but enough kids turning out that, you know, we have warranted adding another coach. And Jessica Rice joined us and did a really, really strong job in helping these kids grow and perform. We're doing more and more connecting the high school programs with the middle school programs to create, you know, as seamless a transition as we can when they're moving from the middle school to the high school. One of the things that we tried this year, and I think I alluded to it in the winter report, was the scheduling of middle school. There's 12 schools in the Tri-County League. Some districts have been restricted to travel distance. At the same time, trying to balance and honor what some ADs have been asked to do with regard to transportation. We try to create matchups that you know, that are 40-point blowouts, because that's not good for the team that's dominating, and nor is it good for the team that's getting squashed, so to speak. So we've tried to balance that. I think one thing that was missed in that scheduling is sometimes based on, so if we take the 7th grade contests in the previous year to use as the data to make those matchups across sports, sometimes then we don't get to see some of the schools that we would typically see. And I think coaches are missing some of that, some of the usual schools that they would see. So we'll see what we do with that going through this next process. One of the exciting things that I think we did this year that I could see it in their faces, that there's a 1 week gap between the start of middle school volleyball season and the start of spring sports, which leaves our gym empty at the high school. And with 70+ kids at the middle school, we were able to bring the 8th grade teams up to the high school and put them on the big floor and get a taste of what it's going to be like. And, you know, hopefully it's a little bit of an incentive to, hey, we get to do this next year, and they're going to be back and out and performing at the high school level. I allude to, let's see, we added another coach to volleyball. We've done this the last 2 years. We've had 5 coaches and 6 teams. So they would take turns in a rotation sharing the duties of that 6 team and coach them, and enough numbers in track that we added 1 from 3 to 4. Know that fall sports begin August 19th, Wednesday for football, and then on the 24th at the middle level, and then at the high school, the rest of the fall sports will begin. Back to track a little bit. So here are some finishes in district. Nolan Driver 2nd in the 100, 1st in the 2, Fiona Trumbull 3rd, and 1600 Jacob Powers got a 3rd. Nolan again 1st in the javelin and 2nd in the discus. 8th grade 100 and 200 Alexis Miller 1st, Mrs. Zimmerman 2nd, Josh Nygaard 4th in the 100, Peyton Hench 4th in the 8. And 3rd in the 16. The 4-1 made up of Hughes Lyons, Nygaard, and McClurg took a 4th. In the high jump, Rogers is getting it done there, and also in the long jump with 4th place position. I would venture to guess that these are some names that you're going to see again on the podium as they progress through their high school. So looking forward to that. So for the high school here, the spring sports. And I try to always give you a comparison of the numbers from 25 to 26, and then give you a little taste of how many of those athletes are actually multi-sport athletes. So we had six golfers this year. It's just 2 less than last year. But you know, they're getting it done in the classroom too at the varsity level with the 3.187 GPA. Baseball, we had 33 athletes come out this year, and we decided to go ahead and create a 3rd team with baseball, a C squad. But I would share, although we did have kids engaged, and now it was really, really challenging to try to find C squad baseball games. There's just not a lot of schools out there with C squad. So they didn't come near filling a competition schedule. But nevertheless, they were engaged and part of the team. Baseball had a 3.241 GPA. Our student government talked about how they did in district. They earned a state berth. We can talk a little bit more about that. Fast pitch, little less than last year. So last year, I think we were closer to 30, maybe north of 30 athletes. Had a really successful year with the second place state finish last year. And then we graduated all of our horses, and which is kind of the nature of sports at times. And so we really came into a building year, a development year, and we're looking for some better seasons to come with a little bit of growth and hard work. But they're also smart in the classroom with a varsity average of 3.376. Boys soccer had pretty consistent numbers. They come out, enjoy, they perform, but we get quite a few kids out for boys soccer. 11 of those are multi-season athletes, and they're also getting it done in the classroom with an average, solid B average. And they saw 2 games in district, so we did get represented there. Track, 26 boys came out. Almost all are multi-season athletes, and that's an increase of 6 from last year. Smart group with the 3.343 GPA. We got kids to district, and we got kids over in Yakima now that are going to be performing this week representing the Rochester Community High School. Girls track had an absolutely solid number come out. Not often do you see the female numbers exceed the male numbers, and that's just really, really encouraging. And I take my hat off to that coaching staff. Under the leadership of Mr. Wilson and that knowledgeable staff, keeping things fun, which creates retention and kids looking for something to do in the spring. It's one of those sports for track, I think, is a sport for everybody. Some kids are looking to perform well enough to get from districts to state because they just missed it last year, or sub-districts to district, or a kid that just wants to come out and get a baseline mark or a time and compete against themselves. So it's a place for everybody, but had a really, really good turnout this year. And as you can see, those gals are also smart in the classroom as well. So some league finishes: fast pitch, 5th, boys soccer were 4th in a league of 9. Baseball took 2nd. They tied for 3rd in district. Girls golf were 5th. Girls track, Kenna Pratt was a league champion in the long jump and the triple jump. And we had another league champions in the guys 4x100 with Delgado, Hines, Meckley, and Peterman. District finishes, fast pitch did not make the mark, but we're going to give it heck next year and see if we can't get there. Boys soccer, as I mentioned, played 2 games. Baseball, they tied for 3rd. Played at state last year. Girls golf, all those gals right there made it to district with a less than 69 average that cut. And I would mention that Gabriella Pietras, by 1 or 2 strokes, just missed making day 2 of districts. Kenna, she was 3rd in the triple jump. She's going to be over at state tomorrow. She's got an assessment to do tomorrow, and then she's on her way. Brooklyn Alfonso is returning in the javelin for the gals. And boys track, Bruce Phillips. He's, I don't know if you all know Bruce. But this year, if you were to look at that, he's a man child. I don't know what it has done in a year, but that kid has got the shoulders and the chest. Anyway, he got it done in the discus. I'm excited for him. Delgado's returning with a 3rd place finish in district to state, again in the 100 meter. LaShawn, this is his first time over in the long jump. In all these field events, and those of you who are tracksters know that in the preliminaries, your preliminary marks will carry into the final mark. So you just need one. You got to pop one, a throw or a jump, and you could do really well and surprise some people. Next slide. Baseball, real exciting year for baseball. Really talented group. We had, whenever you have in baseball kids that can square up a ball and you've got 4 arms on the mound that you can switch in and out with, you're going to be formidable. And I see one error there, it's 14, it's not 16. But anyway, they made it to state. They played last weekend. I don't know if anybody followed. I know Andrew was there. Lost or beat Colville 6-2 and then fell to Seton Catholic. And so they tied for fifth in the state. And when you think about the 55 1A schools in our state, that's an accomplishment. So good for them. And then starting tomorrow through Saturday, track is at Eisenhower. And there are your folks once again. And we can't forget about Clayton. And it's so hard with these alternate seasons where the boys on the west side of the state, they golf in the fall. On the east side, they all golf in the spring. So Clayton, who's a natural athlete, he's going to be a 3-season athlete. He's going to switch immediately from golf, and he's going to put his gym shoes on for basketball, and he's going to put his cleats on for baseball, and then be expected to go perform at a high level of golf. That's hard. That's hard to fit in the swings you need to do for golf to be really, really good at it. But again, he's a natural athlete, and we'll see him back at Golf State, I'm sure. And then this picture at Kenna at District with the third place in the triples. All league honors. So Gabriella Petrus, second team for golf. We had 2 honorable mention, and senior Addie Morgan and sophomore Charlie Cole, infielders. Soccer, I know that they're in their league meeting currently, so I don't have that information immediately. Track and field, Kenna was a champion, long jump and triple jump. I've already mentioned that. And then the boys 4x100. And then baseball, first team, Tayden Martin, pitcher, Ethan Rodriguez, outfield, Tyler Houston, infielder, and our second team people, Wyatt Dahl, catcher, Easton Singleton was pitcher, Ruger, of course, infielder, Owen Driver, freshman, outfield, and Simon Barth, outfield. So we've got some young people coming up in that baseball program that are going to do some things. They're going to make some noise. So remember I said that. So they're going to be back there. I'm confident with that. And here's how we kind of finished it up. So we had 8 individual league titles this year. 16 and 17 programs are in WI Scholastic acknowledgements, 23 all-league acknowledgements, 1 coaching staff of the year, 13 individual team state qualifiers, and a 6th place state performance thus far. Track and field performs this weekend, taking 5, representing 5 sports. I would also share too that in January, we begin our reclassification counts at the state level. So they will begin to take counts for our freshman, sophomore, and junior classes the months of January, February, March, April, May, and then 3 in October. And then the following fall, they'll reclassify. And numbers thus far that I've been paying attention to has us just north of the 1A cutoff, which is currently 450. I think the numbers that I grabbed that I was given has us at like 470. But also what's happening, we had a number of 1B schools who opted up to play 2B because it could get them into 11-man football. And I think what we're going to see is that those who opted up are going to remain where their classification is a 1B. And so that has the 2Bs dissolving a little bit. So my gut feeling is to create some kind of balance at the state level through, with classification, that they're going to have to slide that scale. And I hope that scale, if they slide it, it's going to slide north. Because in my opinion, we're a 1A school. We look like a 1A school. You look at the other towns that are 1A, we compare with those, and it's just a healthier place for us athletically than would be a really small 2A school in this region. That's my opinion. We're going to talk about that because when numbers come in, I'm going to want to talk to the board about some ideas of what I think would be a good recommendation for us. And finally, got 3 people moving on. I'm hoping I'm not missing anybody. You hear kids talk about, yeah, I'm going to go do this and go do that. These I have confirmed. These we actually, 2 of these we've actually had signings for, and Ethan Rodriguez is going to Idaho. Brooklyn, she's going up the road to St. Martin's to throw. Taden, I need to get back a hold of his mom. They wanted to do a signing, but he's gonna go play some baseball. New Mexico Highlands. That's what I have for you. Any questions?
I think the kids are awesome. Engaging in the community and multi-sport athletes, and the GPAs are outstanding. Very impressed. Standards that we're setting for our student athletes. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
Anything else, board members? All right. You sure?
Okay, you are.
Well, folks, if you guys are all done, you're more than welcome to leave. Enjoy your evening. There's probably enough light outside. I'll be mowing your yard today.
Good, yeah, Wyndham State, Rochester was seeded 13th out of 16 teams and beat number 4.
Ah.
But that needed to be pointed out.
Awesome.
So that was a signature win.
Yes, it was. Wow, we cleaned out.
We did. It's pretty out there. I think other people are doing other things.
All right, you ready?
Are we ready, or do we need a 5-minute break, anyone?
We're good.
We're good. We're good to go. Let's get her done. All right.
Empty room. That's how excited. Sorry, Jill.
It's like everyone's gone. All right, so next is our business report.
They do care about financials.
You guys care, you say. That's important.
We care.
So our May FTE actually maintained relatively stable, just losing less than 1 FTE. We have 53 students participating in Running Start. 21 of those are Running Start only. Heart had a slight increase in 33 students. Our special education counts at 366, so a few students were exited. And there were 9 students eligible to be counted for the Gravity Dropout Reengagement Program. The same visual, those same numbers in a visual. So you can see that red line for the last 3 months has maintained relatively stable. So that's a good sign that kids are sticking around. At the end of April, our fiscal year is about 67% of the year complete. Our revenues are right on target at 67. April is the month we get our second levy payment. So that bumped up quite significantly. And our expenditures are about 68%. So more detail on the general fund, that 3.8 million ending fund balance is broken down to 418,000 that's restricted and not available for free spending, which leaves about 3.4 million available to be committed to the school board fund balance policy. So we are within our 8 to 11% for the first time in a long time. Yeah. The 5 different funds that we account for. So the 3.8 million in general fund, capital projects at 3.9 million, debt service at 865,000, ASB is at 642,000, and the transportation vehicle at 187,000. Any questions?
None?
And I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving, I'm just getting water.
Oh, anybody else have any requests? Okay. Try to crunch all these numbers and see what they are. Good. Okey-dokey. Next, our superintendent reports.
All right, I just have a few things for you tonight. First of all, end of the year is here. It's hard to believe. You heard the principals mention that SBA or our state testing is almost complete. Primarily what they're doing now is doing some makeup tests. But all the kids have been tested, and I would tell you that there is a high percentage of kids who have taken the test and they're really taking it seriously. So it's good data, I think. I-Ready test assessments are also being completed. Transitions are underway, and when I say that, they're working on helping our students transition from one building to the next. So I believe it's next Tuesday, our third graders will be going, our incoming third graders. So our second graders at RPS will go up to GMES to visit, and then there'll be a parent meeting in the evening. On Thursday, our current fifth graders go up to the middle school and we'll visit the middle school during the day. And then there's a parent meeting in the evening. And then I don't remember the date, but our current eighth graders going up to ninth grade are also having a transition time as well. And then the ninth grade and the sixth grade will have some time next fall to also have a transition time in their new buildings. Next year's schedules are being built, so I gotta, just applaud the work that's being done by our counselors and our administrators and building schedules for next year. They're almost complete, or I don't know if I'd say almost complete, but they really have a good start. And I think they're gonna have them ready to go before the end of the school year, which is really good. I don't know that they'll be sharing all those schedules with kids yet, but they will be at a real good spot so that when the kids come back in August, they will be ready to share. Takes a lot of work to do that, so they're making it happen. End of the year activities are in full swing. I've got another slide coming up to tell you all that's going on. Next week's an especially busy week, but there are lots of events happening now. If you want to do something any night, any day, I could probably find you a place to go and visit. And then there is some hiring going on for next year. Not a lot, but there is some. We found we've hired some special ed teachers, some speech pathologists, just some really good people that we're finding right now. So I'm feeling really good about the hiring, and our administrators are really working hard to make sure they're finding the best staff to bring on board. Dual language night, you heard that mentioned by Danny. And Francisco was there for that evening because his son's in the program, but what a wonderful night. And it just really made me realize how many kids we have in our program now. 3 grades. And our second graders all got their medals and they're moving up to Grand Mound. It was a great evening. It was a very full gym, and we're already talking about what do we need to do next year to make some accommodations to address so many people, because there was over 350 people, which was a lot.
How many students total?
How many students total in the program? So 120. Yeah.
Okay, I thought there was 2 classes per.
There's 2, about 22 kids in each.
Real.
Times 3 grades.
Each grade, times 3, yeah.
So about 44 kids in each grade. 40 to 44.
Gotcha, okay.
Mhm. And so the program is moving up to the third grade. We have a teacher that's been hired. He was actually hired last year, and to teach the Spanish side of it. And then we have an English speaking teacher who will be partnering with him. But they're ready to go. Kids are excited about moving up, and it'll be fun to watch the program take hold in the next building. You heard about this as well, but the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, it was a really good performance. The kids did a great job. I did not get to see the nights that Mr. Theonis was there. Heather did, I'm sure. But the star of the show were the kids. They just really did a great job. It was an enjoyable show. It was funny. I laughed all the way through. So very, very pleased to see what they were doing. Graduations are coming up. Make sure they're on your calendars. June 6th is Heart. And just as a reminder, that's right out back here. We call it Heart Park. A wonderful celebration. It starts at 6. The ceremony will probably be over by 6:40, if it's even that long. Then people will hang around and have cupcakes and things like that. But you could definitely be home by 7 o'clock. Is everybody attending that one? You're not. Okay. That's Friday.
Friday.
Yeah.
Okay.
I won't be there. I haven't missed it. I like that one. That was
Yes, that's a really good.
cool. And all the kids right out here in the back.
Yeah. Andrea will be checking with you to confirm exactly who will be there for that. And then on the 8th is, what's that?
Should be the 7th.
It should be.
For the 5th and the 7th.
Did I miss the dates?
Yeah,
Is it June 7th?
5th and 6th.
5th and 7th. Okay, so scratch that. June 5th, that's why you were like, you're like, wait a minute, Beth.
I know,
what are you
what
doing?
is it? I'm like,
Yeah, like look at
What
my phone,
days?
I'm like,
what day?
okay.
That's why the what day?
It's Friday, the 5th, correct?
Yes.
And then Sunday, the 7th. Sorry about
Hey,
that.
look at that.
Good, surprise, there it is.
All better now.
June 7th is graduation for RHS. It's at St. Martin's. I believe most of you are attending that one. I encourage you to plan to be there about 1, no later than 1, just because there will be a lot of other people entering into the gym too, and parking if anything gets hard. So.
Yep.
All right, next.
We're gonna have water and stuff.
We will have water, yes. Yes, anything else that you want on stage? Water,
Just water.
just water, okay.
Yeah.
You had your opportunity, you could have said lunch and you missed.
Maybe in the green room on to the
Oh,
side.
there we go,
Maybe
yes.
something nice, but, for celebration around the street or whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
These are some of those end of the year events that I was talking about. Thursday night is the band concert at the middle school on the 2nd. So next Tuesday is a big day at GMES. They have the family barbecue and you can see there it's from 11:05 to 12:50 and then egg drop. And you could come pretty much any time of the day and see eggs being dropped except for between 12 and 1:30. It is really fun. If you can, sneak away, maybe take a break and head over to GMES. It is a fun family event and there's lots of history, over the egg drop at GMES. And the kids do get really excited about it. And maintenance team is out there with the lift, helping the kids so that they drop the eggs. But you can come by, check in and go out and watch anytime you'd like. Day of Champions at Yelm, that's for our students with special needs, and they will spend the day at Yelm High School. It is a wonderful day. If you wanted to head over there, if you were over there, maybe on a different business and you wanted to stop in at the high school, just let me know and I'll make sure you get on the field. But the kids will be out there competing in different, not so much competing, but engaging in different activities and having just lots of smiles on their faces on that day. The retirement recognition, this is the district level retirement recognition. I believe there's 6 people now. So we actually have quite a few people who are retiring. It's more than we've had in probably, it does include our nurse. But I don't think I've ever seen 6 people retiring since I've been here. So it's been a long time since we've seen 6 people, not all teachers. We have EAs, our nurse, some teachers. So a good representative of a lot of different people. But that's at 3:45 at the high school on the 4th. And then senior awards is at 6 p.m. on the 4th at the high school. So you could just bring a sack of dinner and stay for both, or eat cake and then have leftover cake for dinner and then stay for the awards, where you probably could have more cake.
that's a nice one to be at.
It is a good one to be at. The awards is nice, yes. And then the RPS Friends, Family, and Frozen Treats is on June 5th. And you could stop by RPS between 1:05 and 2:40 and have a frozen treat and see all of our kids at RPS enjoying and having some fun on one of the last days of school for them. They do have more days after the 5th, but I did put on there that the June 10th is our last day of school. Yes. And that's all I have for you.
Kids gave their reports early. They said you have 3 more days left. I'm like, wow.
Is it crazy?
Yeah.
Yes.
So fast.
That's a senior, so.
That's just a scene.
Yes,
Yeah, that egg drop, that's classic.
it is. It's
If
history
your
on
board members have not seen that, it is awesome. It's way cool. Very neat, unique experience. All right, and moving on our agenda tonight. Our old business, and we have a meeting that we need to reschedule, I believe,
Correct.
and that was for,
You want me to help you with that one?
yes, please.
So this is to reschedule the June 8th meeting and move it to July, I'm sorry, not June, the July 8th meeting and move it to July 22nd.
Business, right? Okay,
Yes, we need them.
all right.
July.
Somebody like-
July, moving it to July 22nd?
Yes,
Okay.
Somebody like to make the motion to approve this?
I'll make the motion.
Who makes the motion? Do we have a second?
Make it second.
Caleb seconds. Right, any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none? Motion passes. All right, I like hitting that little banger thing. Makes it official. All right, folks, then we move on to new business. And we have to do these all individually?
yep.
All right. So under new business, number A, we have RHS girls basketball.
Yep, they'll be attending a summer camp in Ilwaco. June. It'll be an overnight event.
So we make a motion to approve?
I'll move.
To approve.
I'll second.
And seconded by Heather. All right, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Not hearing any, motion passes. Next. Overnight trip for RHS boys basketball.
Yep, the boys are actually going to be going to attend 2 different basketball tournaments, one in Connell, and the other in Ilwaco. Both are in June, but they are overnight trips.
So is Caleb Sells the coach?
Mhm.
Would you like to make a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Just go motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Susie seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. All right, next. Uh-oh, blank tell me thing. That wasn't good.
I'll
I
You find it
apologize.
and I'll let everybody know what this one is. So this is the RHS football team. And they are traveling to Linfield, Oregon. I'm sorry, they're traveling to Linfield University in Oregon for a football camp.
Okay. So to make the motion to approve.
Motion.
Who made the motion? We have a second?
I can second.
Ms. Cisco seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Next, we have out-of-state trip for robotics and drones.
This is for the nationals tournaments. We have both a robotics and a drone team headed to Atlanta with Mr. Coos. And they leave Sunday. So that's,
How many's going, do you know?
there's 4 kids going.
I will make the motion to approve.
I'll
Do
second.
we have a sec? We have a second? Right, any discussion?
That's a full week.
Yes, they do compete the whole, I mean, there's probably a day on the front end where they are
Leadership conferences.
getting their feet on the ground, but other than that, they're going through different parts of the competition all the way through it.
How many people are going with them?
To Mr. Coos, and I believe his wife is going.
Okay.
Any more discussion, board members? Hearing none? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Good luck to our drone team. Next on our list is our 26, 27 school board meeting schedule. And I believe we went over this at our last work session. Somebody like to make a motion to pass this?
I'll move.
Lily moves.
I can second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Next, our world language Spanish curriculum adoption. Again, we went over this at our last work session. Somebody like to make a motion to approve?
A motion.
Heather makes the motion. We have a second.
I'll second.
Susie seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion passes. Next, we are on our SEL curriculum adoption. Correct?
Yep.
All right. I will make the motion to approve this. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Susie seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion passes. Next, we have our fitness and health curriculum adoption. Someone like to make a motion to approve?
Motion.
Heather makes the motion.
I can second.
Thank you, Francisco. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion passes. Next, our student fee schedule for 26-27.
Is the same as it was last year.
That's okay.
So there's no changes.
Okay.
As we had previously?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I'll make the motion to pass. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Susie seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion passes. Next, delegating authority to the WIAA.
This is a resolution that we need to pass so that we allow WIAA to basically run our athletics and allows us to be part of the system where we can compete against other schools.
I'll make the motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Other seconds? Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion passes. Next, our monetary donation for RHS athletic boosters. And it was for donating $2,890 back to the program.
It's going to wrestling.
Going to wrestling. Wonderful. I'll make the motion to approve that. We have a second.
I can second.
Just go second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No opposed. Motion passes. Next, we are on to our public comment items that are not on the agenda this evening. We have no one online and there is no one.
There's someone online, but they have,
Oh.
I've put it out there a couple of times and they have not signed up. So
Okay.
good to go.
All right. Well, with that, now we're done with that, right?
Yep, that's
We're
it.
done. All right, folks. Well, that concludes our Rochester School Board meeting for this evening. Thank you, everyone that came. And thank you, whoever's online.